Hi, everybody. I want to talk about an item that is not really news at all because this was known about for a few months now, and I'd heard about it back in, I think, April or so, but never really commented on it until now, and I'll tell you why. What I'm referring to is a newly discovered recording that was originally recorded on reel-to-reel tape at an early gig by the Beatles, recorded April the 4th, 1963, and that was recorded, let's see, at the Roxburgh Hall for the Stowe School, and that's located in Buckinghamshire, UK. It's an all-boys public school, and on this early date of 1963, the Beatles hadn't yet had big, serious, worldwide fame. They were on the cusp of becoming really popular later that year, 1963, in England and Sweden and so forth. And then the next year, 64, they'd really explode. So this is interesting, this piece, because it's early on in the Beatles' career and their popularity. It's after they released their first debut album, Please Please Me. And I don't know, I didn't hear any of the recording until just recently. So because I just heard the recording, I figured I would go ahead and make a video about it. And here it is. Okay, what can we say about this? A little more history that I'm reading here. The event came about after one of the students, David Moores from Liverpool, had contacted the Beatles manager, Brian Epstein, to see if the Beatles would want to perform. And apparently Epstein was impressed with Moore's approach. So he said, okay, let's do it. Now, what's interesting about this is that you have all boys in the audience. There are no girls, and it's fairly a quiet recording in that regard. You don't hear a lot of screaming, and that's really a rare thing. It's always good when you get to hear the Beatles be able to do their thing without a lot of screams, a wall of insanity going on, like the Hollywood Bowl. You had that at the Hollywood Bowl, nothing but chaos. And there was an early recording from 1963, I believe, from Sweden, that made the rounds. That was very interesting. That was also a very quiet performance in that regard. Okay, so this performance was recorded by a schoolboy named John Bloomfield, and he was the show's stage manager at the time. And it was on a reel-to-reel, as I say, and it's interesting, definitely historic. But upon listening to this, I thought to myself, it's not really very clear. It's not. It reminds me of the Hamburg recordings in Live at the Star Club, the album that came out. So it's not really in great quality. But of course, we're right now at the time where Peter Jackson had done so much with the sound, with his technology, that he's able to restore things and bring up and demix and make things known, isolate instruments and voices and things that he did in the Get Back project. So now this is a time when maybe we'll actually be able, dare I say it, to get an enhanced release. Now, there were rumors earlier that Peter Jackson is working on something that a lot of fans will be excited about, but he did not say what it was. I'm wondering if this is a possibility of something that he's working on. So apparently this young man at the time, this teenager, recorded this right in front of the stage. And yeah, let me go through some information about the tracks. Now, of course, the set list back then is quite interesting. There are 22 songs performed on this tape. From my understanding of what I'm learning here, there was maybe a few more things recorded, because what happened was the tape ran out, supposedly. So at the end, you don't get you get a couple of songs that are not on here, and I'm gonna read all of them. Here we go. I have a list below if you want to check the list out. They start out with "I Saw Her Standing There," Beatles classic, and I'll tell you, although the sound quality is not very good on this, particularly the vocals, I don't know if there's anything that can be done by some kind of AI technology, Peter Jackson technology, to bring the voice up more, because that's the sad part about it, that the voice is lacking. Again, it reminds me of the Hamburg album from the 1962 show. But I saw her standing there. One thing I do notice is that Ringo is dynamite on the drums. You can hear Ringo really killing those drums on there. And then you have Too Much Monkey Business. Then you have Love Me Do, another, Beatles original. Then you have Some Other Guy that they're so famous for. You remember seeing them do that at the Cavern. Another Beatles song, Misery, off the first album. I Just Don't Understand, which is an Anne Margaret song, one of my favorites that was done on the BBC. A Shot of Rhythm and Blues. Then you have Ringo do 2 back-to-back numbers. You know how they always spotlighted Ringo to do a song? Well, they have him doing 2 back-to-back here. They have him doing Boys, and they have him doing Matchbox. Ringo gets 2 there. Then you have the single that was going to be coming #1 soon, I believe. From Me to You, Beatles flipped with, they do Thank You Girl, the B-side. Then you have Memphis, Tennessee, A Taste of Honey. You have Twist and Shout. You have Anna, Go to Him. You have Please Please Me, the Beatles' big hit. Hippie Hippie Shake, I'm Talking About You. Another Beatles song, original, Ask Me Why. Till There Was You. Money, That's What I Want. And then you have a reprise of I Saw Her Standing There later. Okay, now that's where the tape supposedly ends. This particular report that I'm reading says that there were 2 more songs at least, Sweet Little 16 and Long Tall Sally. If that's the case, if those were indeed performed, Sweet Little 16 and Long Tall Sally I don't believe are available here, because it seems the tape runs out with I Saw Her Standing There reprise. So you're talking about really 24 songs maybe in all. Well, this is really pretty fascinating. You get to hear some Beatles dialogue in between. Now, in this quality, it's hard to really judge it. I'll just tell you that I could hear, even in the rough quality, I could hear there was some flubs, and there was some maybe off notes, or the guitar solos weren't always perfect, that kind of thing. It's a little rough in that regard, but you can feel the power, you can feel the energy, you can feel the excitement of the early Beatles, and how lucky was this group of youngsters to be able to hear this show, at that early in the Beatles, careers, really. So, yeah, I'm just wondering, as I say, will we get this released? Will they be able to really clean it up? Will they be able to make it something that's marketable? Maybe something that would be put out officially, if they can really get it. One thing I noticed too in this particular set list, it's very John Lennon heavy. Paul doesn't have many songs here to do lead on compared to John, but that's just an observation that I happened to notice. Anyway, yeah, so I just wanted to give my feelings on this after having actually heard this. Now, this is available to hear. I'm not going to put a link below or anything. If you search right now, as of the moment that I'm making this video, you can search YouTube for the school performance, the Stowe School, STOWE, and 1963, April 4, and you will hear for yourself. It's really historically important and fascinating, if not perfect quality. Let's see what the future brings. Thumbs up, thumbs down, let me know. Either way, fingers crossed for a better release.